Hello, I'm Charlie from Paradox, and you're on We Are Nocturna 2000. Stay tuned. Yeah.
Hi, Charlie. Thanks for this interview opportunity. It's really an honor. Your eighth album is now out. How have the reactions been until now?
So, first of all, thanks for having me and thanks for your support. Um, I'm really grateful for everything and for all the response we've got for this album. We have we get great reviews all over the world for it. Most of them are phenomenal. And we didn't expect it because it's a long album of 75 minutes. And nowadays, who has time to listen to 75 minutes? Yeah, you must be a fan. Yeah, or you must take the time for it to go through this journey. And it's a long journey, but I'm very satisfied with the result of this album.
It's really a banger. In my opinion, the best of your career.
Oh, thank you.
Heresy 2, End of a Legend, is the sequel of your 1990 Heresy album. In which way are the two albums connected? Just lyrically or also musically?
No, it's just written by the same lyricist, Peter Vogt, who was responsible for Productive Imagination and Heresy in '89. And it is a close topic what he chose for this album. But music-wise, it's different. It's Paradox 2021. It's not Paradox, a copy of '88. So it's different. And what the next difference is, Heresy in '89 was not music-wise a concept album. It was just lyric-wise a concept album. But this Heresy part has both, has lyric-wise a concept and music-wise a concept. So I translated the lyrics into the music this time, and this was the biggest difference. I don't want to copy myself as a componist as well, because you want to develop by yourself. If you make music, if you play guitar, you always want to getting better, and so I knew that it's not enough just putting riffs on this album like I did on Heresy '89. It was great for old school, but I knew this album needs more atmosphere, more dramatic, more epic stuff in it, and because of the story. And then I started in 2019 with it. Yeah.
And it resulted pretty well. Now, lyrically, what does this album talk about?
Well, this is in contrast to the Heresy '89 album. It was based by a true story. Yeah, it was a time document. Yeah, but this time this is a fictional story. The idea Peter had, and this is also a very complex story. Yeah. So it's about in 2000 in the 13th century, yeah, at the siege of Montségur, it is in southern France. The two groups were tasked with removing a Cathar treasure, yeah, and the story tells of these dangerous journey what they had and what's happening. But it is very whoa. We put all the lyrics in the booklet. We put the story in the booklet we printed, and we did the same what we did on Heresy 1. We made a short introduction of each song, because if lyric-wise you pick out one song, you would lose the context. You have to read it from the beginning to the end. Yes, because then maybe you don't know what's about. If you ask me about, I know what a man of sorrow is. If you ask me what a man of sorrow is a sad priest who found a relic. But if I tell you this, nobody can understand what the whole meaning is, So that's why it is about a journey, and it's about that was said that Jesus was not the real Messiah. So it was John the Baptist who prayed a few years before Jesus prayed in reality, and the the Pope has a ring on his finger with John the Baptist, you know. So it's a little bit so mystic here, mystic there, you know. It's a fictional story, of course, this time. And when I read this, I knew, oh, I must do something special. And it needed also a song like A Meeting of Minds, even if some people say we're a thrash metal band. We needed a half ballad. We needed a break in between these fast songs, you know, and then you can get back in calm and taking breath for the last part of the album, you know.
And it really works very well. That semi ballad that you introduced, it really breaks the rhythm that the album brings, rests a little bit, and then it goes. As I said, it's a fantastic album. And are you planning to keep doing conceptual albums in the future?
To do another conceptual album?
Yes,
no.
Maybe not related to heresy, but to another story.
Okay, this always could happen, but I don't have plans to do a concept album after I did a concept album. I won't have with the next album. I will have a contrast, and I knew that a lot of diehard old school fans would like that I go back to the roots and playing some more rhythm stuff and not so many chorus. Or I did this big album. I wanted to do this big album, and I did it now. I'm finished with this, and it wouldn't be good if I would repeat something like that again. So that's why I want to show that I'm always be able to do an old school record, yes, but I don't want to copy myself, you know. So you will hear more rhythm, basic rhythm maybe on the next album, yes. But if I start composing, you never know where it ends when I start composing a song. So right now I listen to all old school records, all first records, Legacy from Testament or Flotsam and Jetsam, Doomsday, you know, and I listen to The Heathen, Exodus, Bonded by Blood, my favorite album, you know. And so I come from the Bay Area side. I also Metallica, of course, we don't should forget, Ride the Lightning and Master Puppets. And these are this kind of music I listen to a lot right now. Forbidden, Twisted into Form, yeah, classic. And I like to do something like that. And let's see what happens. Yeah.
And it will sure be a banger, for sure.
Yeah.
Considering that Heresy is considered by many as your best album ever, were you trying to bring back the spirit of that original Heresy album?
Well, I didn't want it, as I mentioned, I didn't want it to do the same. I knew this is a heresy part, but with a totally different story. And as I knew this must be an album which sounds like Paradox when you listen. After 1 minute, you know which band is playing here. And I had no plans to do this because a second part, I'm not a big fan of second parts, and even with movies, I'm not a big fan of second parts. And Never Touch a Classic, you know, it was a risky path what we chose, and but I know we did something really good. So but it was not planned to do this a second part of Heresy. No. But after I read the story, and after, of course, the original Peter Vogt is original from the 80s, and he's back. Axel Blaha is back, the co-founder of Paradox. So half of the founding band is in the bus, and so what better can happen? Yeah, together with a great lead guitar player Christian Münzner and our Ollie Keller, who recorded 4 albums, the half of the discography of Paradox with us. So it's a family now, and it was really heavy. It took years to get a lineup like this.
And as you said, your lineup has suffered a huge revolution to this album. What happened to become a family? What led to this family be together now?
Well, Axel, the drummer and co-founder, is in private my best friend. So nothing can happen between us. We can fight. I can fight with him, and I can drink with him or celebrate with him, making music with him. He comes each week to me, drinking coffee, talking about music. So this chemistry I didn't had before when I was in recordings with Pangea. Of course, we had a good chemistry with that musicians, yeah, from Greece, Kostas Milonas and Gus Drex, who play in Suicidal Angels, great guitar player and a good friend. But you know, they were far away in Greece, and now I have my best friend in the band, and I have old friends in the band like Peter Vogt, and I have Ollie Beck, who recorded the half discography of Paradox, and Chris were on Tales of the Weird from 2012 on this album. So we became friends more and more. Next week I visit Christian. Then we want to talk about the future. He joined Obscura as well. I advised him to join because he got the offer and said, "Hey Charlie, what's going on? What do you think about joining Obscura again?" And I said, "Yes, of course. I'm a fan. Yeah, Charlie's fan because." We have no crossovers with time, so when he do concerts, we're waiting or they waiting, so it's no problem that he can play in both bands. And Christian lives not far from my home, 75 kilometers. It's nothing, and so because we come close together, that's why it's now this good chemistry.
And it is seen that you are all happy doing what you are doing right now. And
yeah.
How was your composition process to this album? Was it different from the other albums? I mean, you already said that this album had to be different from the others. But still, did you change it on purpose, or was it just a natural thing?
It was a natural thing when I started composing the songs. But I thought more about before I started composing a song because of the story, because I wanted to translate this story into the music. And this was the main difference of everything. I knew it's not enough to write just some riffs. You must put some harmonies around. You must put some chords in the vocal parts. I tried to do my best vocal performance. And if I must say one word, I would say atmosphere. Atmosphere. I wanted to put atmosphere in this album. Yes.
Okay. Besides the composition process, you are also responsible for the studio work. How did it go? Do you have any funny story that you can share with us?
Yes, I can tell you that I jumped around because I was angry when I thought, and I recorded that. I recorded a vocal line, and then you heard, "Shit, man, what's going on here? Why I fail, you know?" And you hear when I throw things through my room and make and you know, and I recorded this and I sent it to Christian, and Christian said, "Hey, this would be a good cutout from the album on the last end that every fan will hear this and laugh, you know." But yeah, it was because my batteries in the end was completely empty. I had no strength anymore. It was so exhausting to work all this out. And then it was not planned that I do the production mix of this album. The band said to me, "Hey Charlie, try to mix this album because you have the ears for. These are your songs. You compose these songs. If you give all tracks to an outstanding person, you have to sort out all what was that meant, what was this part meant, what is the meaning of this and that, and this takes time and money." And the next reason was money, because of why we should pay $5,000 if we could do it by our own now because we have the equipment now we didn't have before, you know. And so that's why the band advised me to do it by my own. And I said, okay, I can try. I don't know if I fail, then we can send it to Juan Ortega. I was in contact to Juan Ortega, who did the Machine Head album. And of course, I would like to work with Andy Sneap, you know. I know Andy from the 80s when I borrowed him my amplifier that he recorded History of a Time to Come with Sabbath. And he came up to the studio. We were recording in Berlin, Germany, 2 different studios, and we were in the same time. And he came up and said, "Hey, Charlie, can you borrow me your amp?" And I borrowed him for 1 month. So it's no problem. I know him to get in contact. He's now in Judas Priest, of course, but I can't pay. It's too much, you know. He's really good, and he has deserved that he get what he deserved, you know. And Paradox is not be able to work on this level where all these Megadeth and I don't know how many bands, Testament, went in the studio to him.
And you were probably the only guy who could deliver that atmosphere that you wanted in your songs. Besides, all of them are fantastic, but you were the one that knew what you wanted there.
Yes, exactly. I exactly knew what I wanted. It starts with each Paradox album should include fast songs, enough fast songs that the fans are happy because they want to have fast songs. I'm a fan of heavy metal, and if my favorite band has not enough fast songs on the album, Exodus, for example, then I'm disappointed, you know. And I want to do the same. Every album have fast songs. And of course, I had a lot of thoughts about how it should sound, but you can't control everything when you start writing a song. You can't control. That's why I did a song like A Man of Sorrow. Nobody expect from Paradox a song like A Man of Sorrow. It's something I tried out. If you don't listen to the music, to the vocals, these are black metal riffing. If you must imagine there is somebody on this album saying "Man of Sorrow," you know, then it would be a black metal song, you know, with these melodies. But no, it's one of the power metal songs of Paradox. Yeah.
Moving back to your history, since 1981, you have died and reborn a lot of times. Why did Paradox always have this inconsistent path?
Because health problems I had a lot of health problems. I had many surgeries. I had a 4 bypass heart open surgery on Christmas Day, on 24th of December. Heart attack, and my stomach were 4 times open. I had an intestinal infection, and it goes worse. I lost my life 2 times, was close to die, and with heart, the 3rd time I was close to die. And this all took years, you know. It has a psychological sufferings after all this. Sometimes I have panic attacks or getting in fear without a reason, you know. So sometimes like happen things like this, but I'm strong character, and I don't giving up is a foreign word in my language, you know. So I'm always fighting, and I say no, not with me. And this is the best. This is the best what you can reach, that you have the strength if something happens to you like this, you know. So the most things were health issues. If I understood your question right.
Yes, that's a very good answer.
I don't, and of course I don't know if I understood right, but it was the tour circle and album tour, and we never did this. But I'm satisfied with what Paradox reached, because we're a cult, and this is if you have success for a moment of time, A big success is not the success. I mean, a big success is if you are in this heavy metal scene for more than 3 or 4 decades and you are still here and doing good records. This is the biggest success you can reach, not money.
And as you said, besides all of those health problems that you had, you were always the face behind the reincarnation of Paradox. Can we say that Paradox was always the thing that kept you always glued to life?
Yeah, yes. I remember when I went in hospital after my heart surgery, I was thinking about the next record. I just couldn't move my head. I couldn't walk. I could do nothing, but I could think. And in my head was, you won't come back making music again. I didn't expect it that I was be able for after this horror. But I came back. It took 2 years to recover a little bit, and then I started. It took not long to start with Pangea record. So I had in mind to come back, and I was in my laying in my bed and thinking on music. This is my life. I can lose this. I don't want to.
And after 40 years of career, you are still fighting in the metal scene like you never did before. What can the fans still expect from you?
That end of a legend doesn't mean that it's end of Paradox. No, I still have the fire in me to do another album with Paradox, and I could do this for I don't know how long. I guess I do this till my last breath. I was very close to do it like till my last breath, and it's my hobby. It's my hobby. It's my passion. My passion. This is the most important reason, because I do this because I like what I do and I believe in what I do, and I have a lot of great supporters all over the world. I don't know. I need more than just say thank you for this. You know, that's why I try the best what I can to bring something back to the fans with new music and good music and Paradox music, not just breaking a style and doing something completely different just to make money for it. No. The next Paradox album will sound like Paradox. Each record sounded like Paradox. Yes.
And that's what keeps you unique.
The strength.
Yes, and you keep your sound throughout the years. You don't sell yourselves.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Besides Paradox, you are also included in the thrash metal band Exochrist. What are you planning for the near future? A new album? Maybe?
No, there is nothing planned, but Dax is the founder of Exochrist, and he is an ex-singer and guitar player of Vendetta from the 80s. And we are friends since the 80s. We did a lot of parties together, and I went to their rehearsal room in 1986. I remember when I sang Suicidal Lunacy from their record. In the rehearsal room, we sang together Loose and Lethal from Savage and covered, and we made parties together. And we are friends since then, still. And I said to Dax, come on, writing some new material for this. Yes, but I haven't talked to him now for a couple of months. He called me up a few months ago and said, hey, Charlie, what's going on? So good that you remind me on Dax, because I have to call him up, because I wanted to talk and want to visit him again. It's really nice talking to him. And I would wish that he do another Exochrist EP or record or whatever, you know. So I would stand by recording some solos again. And the other project was Brain Damage from the other singer of Vendetta, from Mickey Vena, and I also recorded some solos for this project. Yeah. So you see, we live very close together. Vendetta, just 40 kilometers away from Würzburg, where I live. So in Bavaria. So we are very close, and we have a history together. And we were not fighting against who is more successful or something. No, we were always spending time together, drinking together, making party and playing music. So it was great and still great. And we are all friends.
And I think everybody would love to see new music from you two. There are two legends of the German heavy metal scene, I think.
Thank you.
Besides those projects, are you trying to begin something new, or is Paradox your only goal for now?
Well, I guess we should do a follow-up to this album, which have a contrast to this album. This is a great album, but we think that we should do a follow-up, not waiting 5 years for this. So maybe we reach it in 2 years. Except I would start a project I would have in my head with a guy from another great thrash metal band, not from Germany, but I can't tell you more. We're just talking about, and I'm totally sure that each metal thrasher would jump if he would hear the collaboration of two great songwriters. So let's see and wait what happened, but there is something what goes on besides Paradox, and but with the same roots, and so I don't know. It takes time, of course, and it takes time. If I do something different, it takes time from Paradox. But I know I will do another Paradox record, and I will spend all my focus. If I work on this Paradox record, I don't think on another project or something like this. I'm totally focused on this project when I work on a Paradox record. I'm concentrated because I know this must be good. I won't always be better. Each part must have something what goes up, not down. And if I have a part, for example, Priestly Woes on the new record has a calm part. The first single, Priestly Woes, it has in the mid part a calm part where you start dreaming what's going on. What is this? Is this Paradox? And then it explodes like this. Parts like this, you know. I made thoughts before. I wanted to have something special, you know, and this is what I always want as a composer. So. Yes, I work on Paradox, and I maybe work on another project, doing a record.
And I'm very looking forward to both. Now, what about touring plans for this record? Is Portugal included on your touring plans?
If we play, Portugal would be a great place for us because we have do something better what we did in 1988 when we played in Portugal. But we had no chance because the security take us from stage, because the fans jump over to the backstage area, and it were hundreds of fans who would jump over and to reach the stage, and the security came up and said, stop playing after 5 songs, stop playing. And we went into a bus where we're waiting for us, and the door were closed, and all fans were on windows from the car, and he drove us away in a safe place, you know. And I'm sure they don't wanted to do anything against us. It was enthusiasm, you know. And they like what happens, but I don't want to just play 5 songs. And I remember it was the 10th of September in '88, and it was hot. It was in the afternoon, and the red sand was coming up, and I couldn't breathe really, and what a chaos. But I remember we lived in the Penta Hotel in Lisboa, and very nice everything. And the people we talked a lot to the fans before we played. We were walking on the place, on the stage area, so we had a lot of time talking to the fans. Great, and we know that these fans are, yeah, great.
And apparently they wanted to talk more during the show.
Yeah. So to come back to your question, we said we meet and waiting up for the response for this album, how if people like to see us or not. But it seems they like to see us because the response is overwhelming. It's great, and so we think about playing, but Paradox were never a touring band, so we don't play any tours anymore. So if we play single shows. But if we play, for example, we play Madrid, Spain, and Barcelona, Spain, why not moving to Porto or to Lisbon, you know? So why not? If we get the offer we will see what we can do. I can't promise something, but of course, Portugal is a good place for Paradox. That's for sure.
Now, just to finish, 1 year after Heresy, Paradox broke up. This isn't going to happen now, is it?
Yeah, yeah. When we released the Heresy album in '89, nobody thought that we go on. We quit it. And now we have a second part 32 years later out. So this is what calls paradox. It's a paradoxon, you know. So yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you, Charly. It was an honor. Would you like to send any message to your Portuguese fans?
Yeah, to the Portuguese fans, I can say we hope that we come to play live. But first, please enjoy our album. Take your time for this album. Don't listen just once to it, because if you just listen once to it, you can't understand what's meant, and you will go through. If you go through this journey, then you will say in the end, this is a great album. I'm sure you will say you will like it, and give us a chance to listen to it, of course.
All right, that's it. Thank you once more.
Okay, I have to say bye-bye. Yes,
Okay.
Daniel.